Howdy. Hello everyone, how are you doing today? Today is the 9th of April 2026. 6 cauliflower and cheese sausages with vintage cheddar, broccoli and red onion seasoned with chili and paprika from Aldi. One of those ingredients sounds particularly exciting to me. Of course it's the cauliflower, I'm obsessed with no, it's the cheese. But I am very interested to see how a somewhat mundane ingredient at a base level anyway can be made more exciting. So perhaps I could make my own cauliflower cheese sausages sometime. That would be interesting. It'll be food for thought anyway, as well as food for my stomach. They have a somewhat noticeable smell. Maybe I can smell a bit of spice already. A bit of that aforementioned chili. We also have broccoli, cauliflower, broccoli, water, red onion, vintage cheddar cheese, oil, brown rice, yellow split peas, thickeners, black pepper, smoked salt, dried green bell pepper. There's a little bit going on there. And I cooked just 3 of them. They're not the largest sausages, so yeah, you may need a good few, and you do get only 6 in a box. I wish I could remember how much I paid, but I believe I threw the receipt away yesterday or the day before, so that was rather silly of me. But it would have been at least £2, I'm sure. I cooked them in my air fryer, and yeah, I think I needed to turn them or cook them for a little less than I did. They recommended 20 minutes, perhaps I should have done 15. But that's okay, they're actually quite tender still, just a little, maybe a little overcooked. Let's have a look inside. There's a gentle smell, a gentle, somewhat typical sausage smell, perhaps. I can faintly smell cauliflower, I believe. Yeah, it's a little overcooked, as I say, so. But yeah, I can definitely smell cauliflower. I'm not sure if I can smell cheese yet. Oh dear, did they forget the cheese? There's always one ingredient they forget in these types of products. Once you get past that somewhat unattractive and somewhat overcooked, perhaps, sausage skin, you have nice textures inside, very easy to eat. There's a faint spice of some kind, or heat, very, very faint. Perhaps I can taste a bit of broccoli. Oh, actually, there was the most discreet tingle appearing, and before I could even really register, I just barely registered it before it fled from sight, and yeah, it's disappeared completely now. There was a very, very slight tingle, but it's gone now. I suppose I'm enjoying eating them. They may be lacking in flavour a little thus far, but it's an enjoyable enough experience. Interesting. Very interesting. Where is the cheese? Where is the cheese? Is it 22% or something? 10% vintage cheddar cheese, milk 10%. Where is the cheese? I agree that they contain cauliflower, and I believe I can taste the broccoli as well. I'm happy to confirm that. I will go on the record as saying that they contain cauliflower and broccoli, but I'm not sure where this vintage cheese is. Yeah, I'm sorry to say I would. If you're going to mention that they have cheese rather than have it as a casual ingredient, you need to be able to taste the cheese. 6 cauliflower cheese sausages. Where is this vintage cheddar? Surely it has a bit of strength to it if it's vintage cheddar. Maybe discreetly I can taste cheddar, but if so, if that is what I'm tasting, and I love my cheese, I know cheese. I'm made. My whole existence is in existence due to cheese. I think I need to cut back on the amount of cheese I sometimes consume. So I'm no stranger to cheese, and I love cheese. But if that is cheese that I'm tasting, it's been masked by some other ingredients. Perhaps there are too many herbs and other things begging for your attention, because the recipe is somewhat involved. I mean, you have the usual stuff like onion powder, it says filled into vegetable-based casings, rubbed oregano, Chipotle chili powder, okay, chipotle chili powder. Maybe I can taste that. And cayenne pepper, crushed chili. But yeah, the usual rogues like tomato powder, onion powder, garlic powder, every powder you can imagine. Dextrose, that's a common ingredient. Garlic, of course, is a common ingredient. Ground paprika, parsley, potato fibre. I'm not sure if I can taste the brown rice. It's a somewhat neutral sausage, I suppose, because they're thinking, right, we'll make these for the vegetarians and maybe they're vegan. No, there's milk, so it's not vegan friendly. And like what the meat eaters do with their barbecues, they can dollop salad cream, mayonnaise on top and have with fried onions and stuff. So, obviously I'm eating them as they are, just so we can properly appreciate them at the base level, at their most naked, intimate appearance. But of course, you can have them with pasta, so you have a nice textural exchange between the two. You can have some HP brown sauce to liven them up. So there are things you could do with them, of course. Maybe have some fried onions, some fried mushrooms. That would be interesting. But as they are somewhat dull or almost dull. No, they're not dull. They're just they're not very loud, and I think that is with intent. There's nothing scrumptious about them, but nor are they awful nor bland, and not quite dull either. They're just so. They're inoffensive. They're nice enough, and once you get under the dodgy sausage skin, it's not too bad. You have a nice filling, but flavour-wise, I'm not really getting much. I have to say, and I know cheese is an expensive ingredient, but you made a point of saying that they are cheese and cauliflower sausages, so please give us some cheese representation. Yeah, even then, there's a little bit of spice. Yeah, very, very tiny bit of spice. I think they could have made them spicier to have them become more enticing, but every now and again I keep going to say, particularly with that last mouthful, when I was deliberately searching for cheese, I was thinking to myself, that's how now I can taste cheese, and then suddenly it's either covered up by something else, or you think to yourself, no, that was not actually cheese, that's another ingredient. Even though cheese tastes very different to cauliflower and broccoli and all of the other components, you're trying to search for these familiar references because you've been told that it contains them. So you're thinking, this is a familiar reference, is this the cheese? No, this is something else. They're not bad at all, and they make a nice change from veggie burgers. So yeah, you do only get 6. I think 8 to 10 would be better for the price, but this is the economy we live in, and all of that. They're not bad, but definitely pair them with something else. Unless you're happy to snack on them, it's not an awful snack. You could have worse snacks for sure, but I think you might become somewhat bored or just unstimulated, especially where your taste buds are concerned. They're not terrible, but they need to be cheesier. Maybe they should. I know this will put the price up, but they should put blue cheese in. Blue cheese and cauliflower sausages. Now that could be quite interesting, very interesting. I'm not going to use the C word. I'm not. Okay, fine. If you insist, you could have them with custard. Obviously, you could do that as a dipping sauce. You could dip them into custard. I wish you'd stop bringing that up all the time. Honestly, people keep bringing it up as though I have some obsession with custard. It's just so annoying, honestly. But they're okay, and I believe I paid £2. It would have been at least £2, £2 to £3. So for that price, yeah, they're not, for the taste testing experience, that's sort of fun. That I'm happy to pay that price. But now that I know how they taste, would I go back and buy them again, even for £2? Not in a hurry. If I was extremely bored with veggie burgers, and if I had a cupboard full of salad cream, brown sauce, that sort of thing, fried onions that I can fry, mushrooms that I can fry, then sure, it would make it for a different meal. Sure, why not? But not often. They're fun to try, but they are lacking in flavour somewhat. But let me know what you think. Maybe my taste buds are not awake today. Maybe you find them very cheesy, but I do think they are skimping a little on the cheese. But it's an interesting idea anyway.